Hello everybody, welcome to this virtual presentation on the MSc Disability Design and Innovation. My name is Professor Catherine Holloway and I am currently acting up as the Director of the MSc Disability Design and Innovation while Dr. Yongjun Cho is on sabbatical, but we will both be here for next year. So just to introduce the MSc DDI, it came out of a unique opportunity from the new campus at UCL East, where when we were designing that a few years ago, we thought, wouldn't it be nice to bring together the expertise across all institutions that were coming to UCL, to the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, as we talked to our colleagues and friends at Loughborough University and also University of the Arts London, London College of Fashion, and designed a unique program. So it blends research, engineering, and design skills within the societal context of disability. Now, for any of you that don't know, you're going to be disabled. Everybody is disabled at some point in their life, but the complexities of disability are really challenging because they have a social science dimension as well as an engineering dimension. If you don't understand the social science part and you don't understand the complexity of the problems, you won't be able to design engineering solutions that actually work for people. So you get to learn how to tackle complex problems faced by people with a range of disabilities, a range of abilities, and develop relevant skills to work in this rapidly expanding field. When we started this program, there were very few programs like it, and there were maybe few departments and jobs that people were going into, and now it's booming, it's flourishing. We're being asked to do an awful lot of things by a lot of people who are all desperately trying to get our graduates. So the course is for you if you want to become a pioneer in disability innovation. So why is it unique? Well, it's powered by the Global Disability Innovation Hub. We started in 2016 and we now work in over 60 countries with more than 70 partners, and we bring all of that expertise. It doesn't matter if the partner is a UN organisation like the WHO or UNICEF, or a small partner organisation working in a local informal settlement in Sierra Leone. We will connect you and connect the learnings from all of that research into the master's course. We're based at UCL East, and that's where the London 2012 Paralympics happened, and that is part of our legacy. So we continue to build the legacy. What do I mean by that? Well, this picture here on the left shows the closing ceremony of the Paralympic Games, and of the Olympic Games. And when the Olympics ended in London, you came out of the stadium and there were these massive billboards that just said, "Thank you for the warm-up." The Olympics was over, but the real event had arrived, the Paralympics. It was the first time the stadiums were full. It was the first time the Olympics was fully accessible, or the most accessible Olympic Games. And so the team, Victoria Austin and Ian McKinnon, who helped deliver that Paralympic legacy, and myself got talking and thought, what if we continued that legacy and made UCL a home of disability innovation? We're delighted now to be based in the Marshgate building at UCL East, where, as you can see on the right-hand side, we're beginning to develop innovations which win awards. So what would you learn? Well, there's some compulsory modules. 3 of them are completed at UCL. 2 of them are completed at Loughborough University, and then there's a big fat module that's completed with London College of Fashion. So at UCL in the first term, you would learn about future global technologies for disability and development. That's pretty much 50% disability and international development theory, so that you really, and social development theory, so you really understand the social concept of disability, and about 50% understanding disability innovation. So how do we make products? How do we make new technologies? How do we make new innovations that can get to people, that can scale? Alongside that, you do a module that's led by Yongjun Cho on research methods and making skills. That module will get you up to speed in how to code. Even if you can't code now, we don't care. You will be able to code, you'll be able to make, you'll be able to design, and you'll be able to present those designs. And at the end of that research methods and making skills, lots of those projects end up as published papers. Finally, the third module that we run that's compulsory is actually in the third term. So that's the MSc Disability Design and Innovation dissertation. So you get to pick your dissertation from across any of the institutions, and I'll show you some examples of those dissertations coming up later. But you can pick them from anywhere, but we just organise that module for you and wrap around the support so that you get the best dissertation experience possible. Loughborough University, you meet them in term 1 and term 2. The first term, you do a design thinking unit, so you learn about systems, design systems thinking. They have a great team that deliver this course to a number of programs. And then in the second term, you begin to apply what you learnt in the first term with a local partner in what's called the collaborative unit. So you work collaboratively with a local partner so that you're able to apply your design thinking skills to a project. In London College of Fashion, you meet them in term 2, where you do applied business and marketing strategy for disability development. Now, London College of Fashion, you might think, like why fashion is doing applied business and marketing strategy. But what you'll find is that assistive technologies or technologies that are for disabled people often are quite niche. They often need quite bespoke ways in which they can scale and ways in which the business can be set up to scale, or they need to be mainstreamed. Now, if you think about fashion, that's very similar. You can have very bespoke fashion elements, but you can also have that mainstreaming approach. And so you're going to learn all of that. And that actually is the unit that a lot of students get back in touch with me a year or two after and say, have to say that applied business and marketing strategy was really great. I'm still using it every day. So some of these, just to be very clear, some of the names might slightly change from year to year, but the overall content doesn't change. So we do evolve our modules each year. We make ever so slight subtle changes to them, but the overall content remains the same. So in term 2, you also get to pick an option, and effectively you get to pick inclusive design and environments, innovation for a fairer world, or disability interaction. So inclusive design and environments is led by Ian McKinnon. It's all about the built environment. How do you inclusively design the built environment? And it uses the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, as well as some other global case studies, to explain how to do that well. Innovation for a World is led by Dr. Victoria Austin and myself, and we are looking at how do you develop a campaign or an idea that could change the world. So very much based on bringing together social development theory alongside innovation theory, and bringing them together into one canvas and applying them to many different problems. And disability interaction is a module that's purely based on digital interaction. So how do we develop technologies that disabled people can use? Generally, across all of those three, you will be learning how to co-design better futures. So our alumni have gone on to work in many places, everything from the NHS to Siemens Healthcare to the Royal National Institute for Blind People. We also have people beginning to do PhDs and actually beginning to work at GDI Hub as we're expanding. There's also work in, say, the councils or car manufacturing area, as well as some of the bigger tech companies like Cisco. So how do we assess you? So there's most modules have group work and individual work, and some people get quite scared of group work and some people get scared of individual work, but there is a mixture and you are supported to do both. You're actively encouraged to take the theory and apply it in doing. It's very project-based or applied learning models that are used in nearly all the modules. We recommend learning how to co-create with disabled people regularly and learning how to do that well. It takes time. So generally in the first term, you don't do so much. And then in the second term, you're doing much more applied co-creation. So you've learned all the basic engineering social development skills and you've had a lot of touch points with disabled people's organisations or disabled people, but you haven't yet moved into co-design. That sort of happens in the second term when you're feeling a bit more confident about knowing the theory. We've loads of close links to UN agencies, to industry, to charities, so expect to hear from a wide range of stakeholders across the degree programme. We're based at UCL East, which I think is brilliant. We take full advantage of the innovation and making spaces. So, for example, in the next 4 weeks in my model and disability interaction, students over 3 hours will work with one disabled person and develop a prototype technology within that 3 hours. And so they'll do that 4 times to build their portfolio for the module. And that's only possible because of the brilliant making and building facilities that we now have at UCL East. But don't get put off. I know it can be a bit daunting if you've never soldered things together or made things or printed things, but try don't let that put you off. You just get in there, we start, we fail sometimes, we move on. Generally, the course is very collaborative. We expect people to learn as much from each other as you do from us. We have a very diverse portfolio of people coming, probably about 30 to 40% are what I would call standard computer scientists, engineers, but the other 50% can be 60% can be anything from healthcare professionals to policymakers, right the way through to what else have we had? We've had people come over, worked in charity sector or the NGO sector internationally. So it's very much a mix, and you will learn a lot from each other. So it's a bit unique. So I try to pull out a few examples of coursework just so you get an idea of what you would do. So this is an example from the Research and Methods of Making Skills from Yongjun Cho's work with his students, and this went on to win a design award as well as publications. So we have a few examples of things like that. Another example of a dissertation is uplifting mood, so trying to make this augmented reality that would allow people to have better well-being and improve their mental health, to making museums visible for blind and partially sighted people, right the way through to creating inclusive games. And then here's an example from our London College of Fashion friends, where one of our students was working at the cosmetics industry and how do we make cosmetics accessible to blind and partially sighted people, and that went on again for publication. Hi, so our departmental facilities, we have on the one hand spaces for making, spaces for innovating, spaces for doing co-design, great library facilities. The UCL East campus is really lovely. We also work closely with other departments, so if you want to do something, say, more in robotics, we can help introduce you to the people in robotics or in the Institute of Making if you want to do something very deep on a particular element of making. Got the massive Institute of Making Big, just next to the GDI Hub lab at UCL Marshgate. We have in the GDI Hub lab standard things like being able to make a circuit board or be able to drill things or be able to 3D print things. We also have space for brainstorming and we have HoloLenses, we have things for lots of virtual reality, lots of augmented reality, lots of tech. We've got lots of different types of assistive technology collected from around the world, so you can look at what has been done previously for different people. But what I wanted to focus on in this slide is actually the people, because the facilities are one thing and you can look them up and they're very standard, and are great. We have world-leading facilities. However, what we also have is this global network, which convenes in London. For example, this summer we had the Disability Innovation Summit, which is, you can watch it on YouTube. Global leaders from around the world came to London. All of our master students could interact with those people. They could get further help with their topics, with the passion topics that they're involved with. We also have a series of innovation events that just run throughout the year, which you can get involved in, whether it be a hackathon or a tech accelerator or a design challenge. Some of them are issued by friends of ours globally that we connect you to. Others we run with people and we can connect you to. And we have loads of spaces for people to come in and co-design with us. So it doesn't matter if it's people with visual impairment, people with hearing impairments, people with mobility impairments. People come in, we co-design. And we also have a robot dog. Well, that's borrowed from robotics, but the other dog is not. GDI Hub's Yogi Bear is also around to bring general cheer and goodwill. So why do I mention all of these people? It's because globally, in order for us to change disability innovation, we will need the technology, which you expect a world-leading institution like UCL to have, but you also need the global networks. And so we at GDI Hub like to bring those together so that you can flourish. So I'll end on this note, which is our standard slide. We can change the world. Let's make it happen. If you want to know more about us, best place is to have a quick look at all the various social media things or to look at our websites. And we're happy to answer any questions. Just get in touch. Thanks a million. Bye-bye.